Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. May I now call on Professor Molo.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
You may remove your mask. Thank you. Good afternoon, Professor Molo. May a court of law review the factual basis for the issuance of a detention order by the ATC?
Yes, Your Honor, if there
Yes.
is a grave abuse of discretion, Your Honor.
In what action or actions? In what specific action or actions?
Your Honor, if there is a Rule 65 petition, Your Honor, I submit.
Right. Necessarily, the court hearing the case is duty-bound to review the evidence, information, or data in the possession of the state, which the ATC used or relied upon in issuing the detention authority.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And because this evidence, etc., involve acts of terrorism brought to the ATC for determination, they are, at that point, and even thereafter, unless declassified, remain to be highly classified state and military secrets affecting national security.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Therefore, they fall within the category of executive privilege, which is beyond judicial scrutiny. Almonte versus Vasquez, Chavez versus PCGG, as cited in Neri versus Senate, and Padilla versus Congress involving freedom of information.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. So how do you think the security of our country and our people will get affected if and when the disclosure of highly classified state and military secrets affecting national security is judicially compelled?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe there is a balance that we can strike, Your Honor, between national security and the need for anyone accused, especially if the penalty is life imprisonment without possibility of parole. We can, Your Honor, strike a balance and find a way for any of the accused under this law to be able to have an effective defense and certainly not keep the information he may need to defend himself away from him.
So you have two conflicting interests: the interest of the individual suspect on one hand, specifically to his unrestrained liberty, that will only last for 14 to 24 days at the most, with all the safeguards installed by the law. On the other is the safety of our country and the safety of the Filipino people, including our children, who may just be instantly eradicated from the face of the earth if this information get into the hands of terrorists. So which one are you going to choose? The one involving individual liberty on one hand, or the national security, the safety and the very life of our country and the lives of our Filipino people?
Thank you, Your Honor. My answer, Your Honor, would be that under our constitutional order, it is possible to fight a national security concern and yet still maintain respect for the rights of people.
Mr. Counsel,
Yes, Your Honor.
Professor, my question is straight, so I expect a straight answer. It's clear. Which one are you going to choose? You can't choose both. You have to weigh. On one hand is individual liberty. On the other is the life the security of our own country and our people? Which one are you going to choose under the circumstances already stated?
Yes, Your Honor. And my answer is, in fighting a fire like terrorism, we do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. We preserve our constitutional order by being different from terrorists. And because we don't, we end up making them win. We are no different from the lawless elements that we are fighting.
All right, so I would take that to mean that you favor individual liberty over the security, the life, the very survival of our country and our people.
Your Honor, my father is a soldier who fought in Leyte, the jungles of Sulu, who saw his fellow soldiers die at the hands of the NPA. I will never favor terrorists. But my father and my lolo, who was a police chief, who kept Bicol free from the NPA, also taught me, in waging a war, we cannot afford to lose the hearts and minds of our people. We cannot afford to lose our constitutional values.
All right, very well said, but it does not change the clear choice that you have made. And actually, I will agree with you fully if you will change your answer. All right, so let us go to the composition of the ATC. 8 of these members are alter egos of the president.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? At least 3 of them are members of the bar who have been known in the legal profession to be learned in the law, even before they joined the government service. We cannot undermine their expertise in the field of law, nor the expertise of the other members in finance, national defense, governance, information and communication technology, and money laundering. Would you agree, Professor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Do you think ATC will act justly and fairly on every application for detention authority filed before it?
Under the presumption of regularity, Your Honor, yes.
Very well. So they are public officers tasked to perform their respective duties under the law, and as such, they are entitled to the presumption of regularity in the performance of their respective duties.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I would take that to mean that you respect and
yes, Your Honor.
expect the ATC to properly discharge its functions
Yes, Your
in
Honor.
processing the applications for detention authority.
I hope so, Your Honor.
Very
I certainly respect it.
All right. There being only one ATC to process all the applications for detention authority, the probability that it will hand down conflicting decisions involving the same facts or circumstances is nil. Don't you think so?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Yes, very well. So, would you also agree that the creation and involvement of the ATC in the filtering, evaluation, and resolution of applications for detention authority is also an effective means to protect innocent people against possible abuses of unscrupulous law enforcers or military officers?
I certainly hope so, Your
Yes,
Honor.
very well. Why does the law require that every detention authority issued by the ATC be promptly reported to the judge of the court nearest the place of apprehension and the Commission on Human Rights?
To inform them, Your Honor.
Not only to inform them, but for accountability, for transparency, and close monitoring to ensure that the human rights of detained suspects are safeguarded. Okay. In resolving an application for authority to detain, can the ATC deny it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Can the ATC approve it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can the ATC defer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. In other words, the mere filing of an application for detention authority does not automatically mean it will be granted.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. In case of an application to extend the period of detention from 14 days to another 10 days, does the law impose any requirements?
Yes, Your Honor.
What are they,
Um,
Professor?
One of them would be, Your Honor, that there is a statement that it is necessary to secure the evidence, Your Honor.
That is one.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the second?
I forgot the second one, Your Honor. Sorry.
There are only three.
Yes,
All
yes, Your
right.
Honor. Unfortunately, I cannot recall the second and third one.
Yes. To prevent the commission of another terrorism.
Yes, Your Honor.
And third, that the investigation, the police officer, the law enforcer concerned, or the military officer concerned must guarantee that the investigation is being conducted properly and without delay. So again, what possible actions may the ATC take on these applications to extend? Can it deny?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Or can the ATC approve?
They can also
Yes.
approve, Your Honor.
Now let's go to wiretapping. You have an objection.
Well, I believe wiretapping is covered by my co-counsel, Your Honor, but I can try to.
Yes, please do.
Yes,
I
Your
think you can try your best.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Because I haven't had enough of you yet. All right.
Right, Your Honor.
Uh,
I'll do my best, Your Honor.
Yes. I think it is your clients who said this, that the position that wiretapping, with respect to the conversations that may be wiretapped, is overbroad and make no distinction as regards the matters or conversations to be tapped, whether related to terrorism or otherwise. I think it was former or retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio who raised that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And you are the counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. So I do remember.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So so you are actually complaining that why is it there's no distinction on what to wiretap and what not to wiretap, all right? In reality, is there anyone wiretapping expert who can foretell that on the exact given time, place, and date, the party subject of wiretapping will definitely talk about terrorism and nothing else on the phone?
No, Your Honor. No one can predict what will happen in the future.
Yes, so it is not correct to say that
Well, Your Honor, I believe
in wiretapping you can discriminate as regards the time, the place, or the date when the people concerned will talk about terrorism. All right? So is the prohibition against wiretapping absolute?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. What does the law say?
Well, Your Honor, what we were saying, we were referring to Dicini versus Secretary of Justice, that if we are going to use technology in order to enhance our surveillance and wiretapping capabilities, we must make it narrowly, and so that the right to privacy of certain people will not adversely be affected.
Yes, but that is not in the law. What is in the law is no to wiretapping except when it is so allowed by the court. And in this case, which court has that authority to allow
The
or
Court of
to grant
Appeals.
the permit, all right? And the same rule also applies whenever they seek to surveil or freeze the accounts of suspected terrorists, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, all right. For your information, 11 of us here sitting before you, we came from the Court of Appeals.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We can personally and with all honesty certify under the oath of our office, that the presiding justice and associate justices of the Court of Appeals possess all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications prescribed by law for appointment to the Court of Appeals. Among their qualifications are proven competence, integrity, probity, and independence. Now, like the ATC members, would you agree that they too enjoy the presumption that they will regularly perform their duty in accordance with law and the evidence?
Oh, definitely, Your Honor.
Yes, very well. Now, on mundane things, I think it was also the petitioners you're representing who raised the objection involving mundane things. It is the position of the petitioners that Section 3E of the ATL on material support is overbroad because it can be interpreted as including even mundane things. Professor,
Yes, Your
what
Honor.
exactly are mundane things?
Well, Your Honor, we were referring to the phrase in Section 3E that says, any property, tangible or intangible, or service. So that's everything almost under the sun, Your Honor.
All right. Can you cite examples of mundane things?
Your Honor, for example, under material support, it would be punishable for a parent or a godparent to give allowance or deposit in the ATM of a UP student who has already been detained as a terrorist. That would be material support kasi nag-deposit ka sa ATM. Alam mo namang aktivista yung apo mo.
All right. It depends on the evidence.
But that's what the law says, Your Honor.
Material support is intended to commit terrorism. Now, please tell me which of the things I will mention is mundane.
Oh,
All
yes,
right.
Your Honor.
A roll of tissue,
Yes, Your
a
Honor.
pair of boxer shorts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, mundane. The iconic isaw of UP,
Yes, Your Honor.
mundane.
Yes, Your Honor.
I will be very sad.
Oh, well, it's very special, Your Honor.
Yes. All
It's
right.
only available there.
Oh, Professor, I really respect your opinion and you have my full support on that. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But may I ask,
Yes, Your Honor.
if A manufactures rolls of tissue paper, which he sprays with poison and distributes them to supermarkets to instantly kill people who buy and use them in their respective washrooms, bedrooms, or even offices or kitchens, will these things be still mundane in our eyes?
No more, Your
All
Honor.
right. If A owns a poultry and distributes the innards of the chicken sprayed with poison to the isaw vendors in UP, precisely for the purpose of killing the isaw fanatics and mass like me, all right, will the isaw still be mundane in our eyes?
No more, Your
All
Honor.
right. So would you agree that the more mundane things or objects seem to be, the more likely they will be used as mediums for terrorism, like the slaughter of innocent people?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. The reason is simple. Would you like to cite the reason or I'll cite it for you?
I would defer to Your Honor.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Okay. People in general tend to be unmindful and unsuspecting of the so-called mundane things or objects. We tend to take them for granted, but because we think they are harmless and innocent. But these things are precisely what terrorists are looking for.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Professor, for my last question, I will tell you a story about Captain Ree.
Oh, yes, I know him, Your Honor.
Really?
Captain Ree, Your Honor. Yes.
Yes. An officer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Do you know him?
Oh, no, I thought a different Captain Ree, Your Honor.
With posting at Metro Manila.
Oh,
All right.
different Captain Ree.
Today, he receives a call from an anonymous person informing him that an hour from now, 5 identified hospitals for children in different parts of the country will be blown up by 2 bombs planted in each of these hospitals. The one person who will detonate these bombs all at the same time, an hour from now, is an IT genius staying at a residential house on Raven Street inside the Blue Valley Executive Village in Cainta, Metro Manila. All he or she needs to do is touch something on his or her cell phone to cause the deadly explosion. At this very moment, that person is staying put in that residential house to synchronize his or her actions with his or her co-conspirators at the exact appointed time. My question, what do you think Captain Ree should do after receiving the information from the anonymous caller?
But certainly, Your Honor, he should exhaust what is available under the ATA to stop the terrorist act from happening.
So will you tell us specifically what remedies he ought to exhaust if you were Captain Ree?
I would go to the venue that was conveyed to me, Your Honor.
Alone?
No, Your Honor. I would bring other people, other armed elements with me, with the
Then
law
what will you
enforcement
do
unit, Your
there?
Honor. And we will, of course,
You
Your
will
Honor,
go to all 5? All at the same time?
well, depending on the resources available, but I understand the difficulty being faced by the Honorable Justice, Your Honor.
Yes, it's really difficult.
Yes, Your Honor.
So on the ground, Captain Ree has to make a decision, a
Yes,
quick
Your Honor.
one, and based on what he thinks is the best remedy. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, can I tell you what I will do if I were in his place?
Of course, Your Honor.
Yes. So I will immediately summon my people to evacuate all the children and everyone inside the hospital. At the same time, I will summon bomb experts to defuse the bombs right off. I will also dispatch my people to secure all the houses situated on Raven Street, restrain them, and confiscate their cell phones and other gadgets. Then I will apply for a detention authority. Since I cannot yet determine who among these people is the IT genius assigned to detonate the bombs, I will need time to investigate. Meantime, I cannot take the risk of releasing any one of them until I shall have on hand sufficient information or data to identify with specificity who is the IT genius and his or her conspirators. So I also need time to look for that anonymous caller and convince him or her to come forward as a witness. So that would be my actions under the circumstances if I were Captain Ree. Do you think my actions are correct?
Your Honor, they're more than correct. They're
Very
actually very
good.
proactive
So
and it would save a
excellent.
lot of lives.
All right. So in closing, Professor, allow me to say this. Unlike the fictional character of Captain Ree, you and the rest of your team are true-to-life patriots. Congratulations and thank you for graciously responding to my questions. You may now take your seat.
Thank
It
you, Your Honor.
misses you.
God bless you.
So with that, Mr. Chief Justice, I've concluded my interpellation. Thank